Good afternoon. This is our third segment of Lifting Community Spirits. I'm your host, Fred Holley. I'm the event coordinator at Republic National Distributing Company in New Orleans, Louisiana. For those of you joining us for the first time, Lifting Community Spirits is a weekly happy hour where I'll be sharing cocktails and conversation with New Orleans professionals, and we'll be discussing the state of the industry from their perspective. We'll get also their take on the future of New Orleans and how to bring it to greater culinary and hospitality heights. So with that said, the two guests we have today, Neal Bodenheimer, the owner of Curico Cane and Table, and his new Val restaurant, which I got a question on that one later in the segment. How you doing, Neal?
I'm doing great. I want to know what the question is.
Well, you're a very brave man for opening restaurants at this particular point in time.
Yeah.
So if that's not lifting community spirits, you are certainly doing it. So congratulations there. Our second guest is Carolyn Rosen, and she's the president of the Tales of the Cocktail Foundation. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me on, Fred, and having a nice drink out and about.
Well, that we are. So why don't we lift our spirits, and when we do that, we can certainly remove our masks. So cheers. Thank you very much for joining us.
Welcome.
And by the way, we are at Cure, and let me tell you, the air condition is absolutely fantastic. And as you can see, we have food in front of us, so feel free to join Cure 4 o'clock.
4 o'clock until 10 o'clock during the week, and then until 11 o'clock on the weekends right now.
Mondays through
7 days a week.
Whew, 7 days a week, fantastic. And so what I'm consuming today is a Woodford Mint Julip. And Carolyn?
I'm actually having a Paloma today, and I'm having it again with Fred. Actually, I got to send in my order. That's what we do these days, right?
That's right. That's right. With Corazon tequila.
Great.
Terrific. And Neal?
Then I'm having a Scapegrace Nagroni with a Scapegrace gin.
So these we'll always have the guests' favorite cocktail that we'll be featuring. And at the end of the segment in our discussion, we will have Morgan Sullivan, the beautiful mixologist here at Cure, break down each cocktail step by step for us in case you want to make that at your home. But my suggestion would be certainly to come to Cure. So the first question I have for both of you would be Tales of the Cocktail. So I know that things have changed because of the pandemic. You have a new theme, Catalyst, this year. You're going digital. And you have a new initiative, number 2, Dream.
To dream inside.
There you go.
With the rabbit hole.
So, explain a little what's going on with Tales.
Absolutely. So we're actually sitting here together this week, which would usually be the time that we would be working together to get all of the amazing ingredients and all of the amazing brands that you have together for Tales. And instead, we're having this, but we are moving Tales digitally. And it's moving to September, but we're really excited about it because we're going to be able to feature New Orleans in a time where people all over the globe are going to be able to tune in and not only learn, but we hope to highlight a lot of our wonderful communities and bars here in New Orleans. So it's going to be great.
We need it right now, for sure.
Yeah.
Well, that's for sure. So, since the inception that you've taken over Tales, how's the response been, and how did you bring Tales back, like I know you have, to this point?
Yeah, I mean, the first thing that we really did is we sat down and we listened to our community. There were a lot of voices that we wanted to hear and had some great ideas. We went ahead and set up the foundation and were able to start giving back immediately. We have an education committee now, we have a grants committee now, we just have more ways to really get involved with Tales, which has been lovely. And one of the things that we actually have kicked off during COVID-19 is with one of our partners, Rabbit Hole. And we have been working on a campaign called To Dream Inside. Now, the gentleman that actually founded Rabbit Hole was traditionally a psychologist. And he'd always loved bourbon and he'd always loved distilling, and he really followed his passion. And so we were having a conversation, and he said, I want to inspire people, whatever it is, to post of what they can dream about, since we are, a lot of us, still mostly inside. And by doing that, if you post anything on Instagram and do the hashtag 2 Dream Inside, Rabbit Hole is giving $2 to the foundation. We're using that with our cocktail apprentice program. Really, the bartenders across the globe that help make the festival happen, and it's a mentorship network. And Fred, we're already up to $150,000.
That's
Isn't that
fantastic.
great?
Yeah.
So,
How many countries have participated in Tales in the last couple of years?
ooh, it's a lot. I mean, I think it's 19.
19 countries.
Yeah.
So
I think
this
it's
is
way more
certainly
international
worldwide.
than we
Yeah.
even realized before we got involved.
Right. So Neal, you're on the board, and I know when Tales had to change hands, I came to you because you were an integral part of keeping Tales here, and specifically in New Orleans, but keeping this this whole mixology theme category alive. So how has it been for you doing double duty with Tales and your places of business?
Well, recently, or recently, Carolyn and the team have been. They always do a lion's share of the work, and they've been doing all the work because we've been here. Every bar and restaurant around the country and around the world is fighting for their life.
Right.
And so that's what we've been doing day in and day out, and we're trying to serve our guests as safely as we can, and making sure that all of our protocols are in place, and just trying to make sure people can have a good time while they're here responsibly. And it's a lot of pressure. You don't know if you're gonna be shut down the next day, or whether whether someone's gonna get sick that works here, and it's sometimes it feels like a pressure. But we get it done.
Good. So for Tales winter fall, I know there in the past you've always had an event. Do you plan on having another digital event at that time?
Well, so Tales will be the third week of September for our digital week-long conference. It's also free. So I'm going to send the email to Fred, so hopefully he can send it out to all these wonderful viewers so everyone can tune in.
I can do that. I can certainly do that.
And we would love to have a gathering. One of the things that I really would love to do is bring Tales back to really celebrating it in each community. So asking New Orleanians to go out and support the bars and restaurants here, and asking people across the globe to really do that in each of their communities, because I know they need us now more than ever. And so that's what we're hoping to do, but we also know that the world is changing daily.
It certainly is.
It's very hard to plan right now.
It's very hard to plan, that's for sure. And certainly an observation that I've made is the fact that, I know consumption of alcohol, at least here in New Orleans, is doing quite well. So the pandemic hasn't affected the overall consumption.
Right.
But I do know, even though that more and more people obviously are drinking at their houses, I think they miss the communal type of connection, a human connection that they have when they're at a bar.
Well, I can tell you
Such
you're
as
right.
us.
Yeah, you are right. I mean, look, it's not. We don't have a problem with demand here, and certainly uptown. People want to come. We just don't have the seats to have everybody, and I don't want the seats to have everybody right now.
Right.
What we do have is we have a way for people to come in, enjoy themselves responsibly, and if we feel like people can't do that, then we can't have them in. We all have to sacrifice right now to try and make this work in less than ideal situation.
So, in dealing with the suppliers, in contacting them for this year's Tales, marketing-wise, because of the pandemic, have you seen any of their marketing changes?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's interesting because, especially as we look at a lot of your suppliers, like, there might be different marketing, even per region or in the U.S. versus globally. And I think for the first time we're seeing that everyone's really focusing on, there's a portion of it that's focusing on COVID response, right? Like how to support bartenders, restaurant owners, like how do we give them the tools to cope? Because we're very fortunate that at this point in time, a lot of people know how to make a great highball, right? A lot of people know how to make a Paloma.
Well, they better after this show. That's for sure.
And so I think that we're seeing a lot of our suppliers really take interest in the well-being of people, and that's really special. And I think we're also still trying to have fun digitally, and that's the other thing is we know that there's still people want to come out and they want to have those experiences, but it's been very fast moving, and it's wonderful to see so many suppliers react quickly and make some really great new plans.
Good. I think everybody understands that we're all connected.
Yeah.
In order for on-premise, on-trade to survive, bars and restaurants have to survive. Right? So we're all in this together, and I think it's been pretty clear as we've been talking to our sponsors.
Terrific. Well, Carolyn, your husband, Brent, he is the director of the National Food and Beverage Foundation and a couple other things here in New Orleans. And so he's basically in the same business we're in. Would you like to plug him and the museum and all?
Absolutely. If you haven't had a chance, please go see the Southern Food and Beverage Museum. It's at the corner of MLK and O.C. Haley. They're available by appointment only, and they also are the home to now the Leah Chase Gallery, which is a beautiful open kitchen. They're having a hot dog making class this weekend. And even more importantly for our conversation right now, the Museum of the American Cocktail.
Which is incredible.
It's
If you've never been, you gotta go.
Yeah.
Good.
So yeah.
Well, terrific. So, Neal, I said I was going to ask you if you had a crystal ball somewhere for opening a restaurant, a couple of weeks ago?
Yeah,
Val on the corner of Freret
weeks
and
ago.
Val's?
Val's. So Val's is named after when we started pulling all the panels off the little gas station. We found the original name of the gas station, which was Val's, and so that's how it got its name.
Gotcha.
And so we've been working on this project for 5 years, and it's been one of those projects, one step forward, 2 steps back, and it's been very difficult. And the pandemic was just another one in a myriad of setbacks. And so you work on a project, you spend the money, and you do what you need to do, and at some point you have to turn it on, or it will never turn on.
Right.
And so we did what we had to do, and we've opened it up, and we really didn't think many people would come out for it, but we've had a lot of people come out, and sometimes too many people. Where we've been a little scared, and we've had to really go and shut down people coming through. But it's been great, and the feedback's been great, and we're really happy about it.
Well, I got to say that Curco being here for how many years?
11 and a half. So Cure started 11 and a half years ago.
11.5 years ago, right here on Freret Street. I got to tell you, maybe one of these sideline streets they can name after you, because you're opening Val, and I see a Rouse's grocery store opening right across the street. You've built this street basically, Neal.
They should name it
So
after my business
congratulations.
partner Matt, because he's built so many houses back here, and he's always identified the property. So really, Matt should get the street named after him.
I got you. All right. Well, maybe we can work on that as well. But let me ask you specifically in regards to the mixology world. Do you see it changing because of this pandemic worldwide, nationally, regionally, and here locally?
I think you already see it changing. I think it will continue to change. I think right now it's so hard to have people gather that you've seen this huge movement around bottled cocktails, canned cocktails, cocktails to go. Obviously, when we get into the U.S., every state has different laws, and how that's gonna we'll see how that's gonna influence the development of this. That can all change on a dime if we get a good vaccine. But I also think that what you're seeing is the same thing that you're seeing on the food side, which is people are looking for comforting things. They're looking for simple things. We came through a period with really over-the-top cocktails, and call them Baroque. And now I think you're seeing people want simpler cocktails. They want cocktails that make them feel good and comfort them. that's what we're focusing on here, and you see it everywhere too. I mean, you just have to look at the stats of like margaritas around the world. I mean, they're through the roof.
Yeah.
Right. Well, I know that certainly with a number of restaurants closing, there's going to be also a number of bars closing. Is that an opportunity for you in regards to bartender/mixologist getting the best of the best? Will they be out there, or do you feel that they might just try another industry as such?
I mean, that's a hard question, Fred, because I don't have a crystal ball, and I can tell you this, that bars, a lot of bars have had to shutter. We're very lucky that we're licensed as a restaurant here, but if we weren't, we would be closed. And there, in all the the 10 people that were rehired here would be out of work, and they would have to ask themselves the second time being out of work whether this was an industry they should make their career in. And so I think that question is being asked right now a lot. But I also think that there will be opportunities. And one of the interesting things about Balance is we have amazing opening staff. And there are people that are really excited about going back to work and about doing something different. And so I think maybe it's a little bit of both.
Yeah. Well, just to finalize things here in regards to this COVID-19, the pandemic, and what we've gone through, lessons learned. If you want to expound on anything in regards to that, if there's any innovations, and if you see any opportunities.
I think that we've obviously all been pushed to digital, and I think it's actually going to be a lovely thing because I think it has opened up barriers that we had in the past, and my hope is that we can always have that augment our work moving forward. If you have to be at home with your kids, or if you have to go take care of a relative, I hope that it continues to give flexibility. It's been really nice to see that with our team and with our committees, and I think it's something that could continue to help our culture, our working culture, as we move forward.
Fantastic. Neal, anything else?
Yeah, I mean, a few things. I think number one, I think that we all understand how much other people mean to us. I think that is.
Yes.
I think that even being here with you guys right now is so nice compared to what we've been doing. And it is. I think we all miss each other, and I think that's the one thing is you got to value the people in your life and you got to really make time for them. But I also think the thing I've learned is that you have to wear a mask. You don't want to wear a mask, and I wear a mask. Comfortable, but you need to wear a mask because it's not about you; it's about other people.
Right.
And we all have to do our part, and that means that we have to care for the other people that we love.
And if China can do it, we can do it.
There's no doubt.
There you go.
A lot of other countries can do it too.
That's for sure. All right, well, that's going to conclude this segment of Lifting Community Spirits. From here, we're going to go see the beautiful Morgan Sullivan, and she's going to create the 3 cocktails step by step for us. See you next week.
Hi, I'm Morgan Sullivan, bartender here in New Orleans, and today I'm going to be making several drinks for y'all. So we're going to begin with a Scapegrace Nagroni. Starting off with an ounce of Campari. And we are going to add this to a mixing tin. An ounce of Cinzano sweet vermouth. And of course, 1 ounce of Scapegrace New Zealand gin. Perfect. Now we're gonna pour this over a large cube, so all we have to do is slightly dilute it. Add some ice to our tin. We're just gonna stir this about 15 rotations to just do a slight dilution. Perfect. Now we are going to strain over our large format ice cube. And garnish with an orange peel. So you're going to want to express on top to get all those oils out. down the sides and insert. And there you have a Scapegrace Nagroni. And next, we are going to make a classic Paloma. So for this cocktail, we're going to start off with 1/4 ounce of lime juice into a Collins glass. And then we'll take our Corazon tequila, doing 1.5 ounces directly in our Collins glass. And now we will add a few drops of a salt tincture. So this will just add a nice saltiness without the granulation. We're gonna do about 6 drops of salt. And we are gonna add a nice ice spear there, and about 3 ounces of grapefruit soda. So we have 2 ounces there. Just gonna top that off with 1 ounce. And the final ingredient is some fresh cracked sea salt. There you have a Corazon Paloma. All right, and next up we are going to make a Woodford Mint Julip. So for this cocktail, we're going to begin by putting about 6 mint leaves in our julep tin. And then to that, we will add 1/2 ounce of simple syrup. So a 1-to-1 simple syrup. And then we are gonna lightly muddle our mint and our sugar. Perfect. Now we're gonna add 2 ounces of Woodford Reserve Bourbon. Great. And a very important ingredient in this cocktail is the dilution. So we're going to add our Scotsman ice or pebble ice, and then we're just going to do a nice stir. So this is going to add water to the cocktail and dilute it and chill it at the same time. We're going to top it off with more pebble ice. And we will add 1/4 ounce more of Woodford on the top. Great. We're going to pack on some more ice. And of course, we will garnish our cocktail with a fresh mint sprig. And there you have it, a Woodford Reserve Mint Julip.
You are
Thank
natural.
you so much.